Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're taking a look at the world of rodeo.
Yeah, rodeo,
And we're not just talking about the sport itself.
right?
We're going to go a little deeper, beyond the arena,
Mm-hmm.
and really look at what rodeo represents.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be fun. Our source material is this really great article
Okay.
called The Rodeo Life, a glimpse into the world of determination and dream building.
Catchy.
And I think it's a really interesting perspective
Yeah.
on rodeo as like a way of life.
Interesting.
Have you ever wondered what drives these rodeo athletes?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, especially the young ones.
Yeah, like what's the real story behind the buckles, behind the bulls?
Definitely. I'm ready to find out.
Let's find out. So the article really emphasizes this idea
Okay.
that rodeo is more than just a sport, it's a lifestyle.
I can see that.
It's this deep-rooted passion that really shapes these individuals.
Yeah, and, it makes me think about other demanding fields. Like, I don't know, like ballet or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Where it's really tough.
Totally.
You have to have that passion to keep going.
Yeah, you have to love it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not going to stick with it.
Exactly. And I think that's what the article's getting at with rodeo.
Absolutely. And it's not just about competition.
Right.
It's about, like, facing your fears and building resilience.
Yeah, like those are skills you can use in any part of life.
For sure. And the article tells the story of this 10-year-old competitor,
Oh, wow.
Shelby Kirby.
Shelby Kirby. Okay.
Yeah, and she's amazing.
I bet.
She embodies this whole idea of rodeo as a way of life.
10 years old. Wow.
I know, and one of the things that really struck me
Okay.
was how she handled the challenge of competing against older riders.
Yeah, I can imagine that's intimidating.
You would think so, right?
Yeah?
But she sees it as an advantage.
Really?
Yeah, she's like, I get to learn from the best. I get to push myself.
That's incredible.
Isn't it?
It really speaks to that whole growth mindset thing.
It totally does. It's like instead of seeing these tough competitors as like roadblocks,
Yeah.
she sees them as stepping stones.
That's so mature for a 10-year-old.
right.
Yeah.
And the article also talks about the support she gets from her family,
Okay, that's important.
especially her dad, who was a rodeo rider himself.
Oh, wow. So it runs in the family.
It does. And there's this really powerful anecdote.
Okay.
She's about to face this challenging bull, and she's nervous.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And her dad, with all his experience, just tells her,
Yeah.
if you think in your head that you're going to buck off, you're probably going to buck off.
Whoa. That's deep.
Right.
It really highlights the mental aspect of this.
Exactly. It's not just about being physically strong.
Right.
You have to be mentally strong, too.
You got to believe you can do it.
Exactly.
Otherwise, you've already lost.
And that connection between the mind and the body seems like a big part of rodeo.
Makes
Like, the article talks about riders using mental techniques.
Okay, interesting.
Almost like meditation.
To stay focused.
Yeah, to stay focused and manage their fear.
Have you come across this in other, high pressure things?
Oh, absolutely. Think
Yeah.
about, like, elite athletes,
Okay.
surgeons,
Right.
even performers.
They all have to be in the zone.
They do. They use these mental exercises to, to regulate their emotions
Yeah.
and be able to perform under pressure.
So, how is it different in rodeo?
Well, in rodeo, they're doing all of this while literally facing down 1,000 pounds of untamed power.
That's a good point. The stakes are a bit higher, I guess you could say.
Yeah, a bit higher. So it brings up a question.
Okay.
With all these risks involved, how do they reconcile the danger with their kids' passion for this?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'd want to protect my kid,
Right.
but also support their dreams.
Yeah, and the article talks about this through Shelby's dad. He acknowledges the risks. He even shares a story about, like, a near-fatal accident he had.
Oh, wow.
But instead of shielding Shelby from the sport, he focuses on teaching her how to manage those risks.
That makes sense. Teaching her to be smart about it?
Yeah, emphasizing preparation, technique,
Right.
and, like, most importantly, respect for the animal.
Ah, that's key.
It is. It's like they have this deep knowledge of the sport,
Yeah.
that acts as their safety net.
It's a careful balance, for sure.
Yeah. Passion, but also calculated risk.
Seems like that's at the heart of rodeo culture.
I think you're right. But let's not forget, the intense family bond that's in Shelby's story.
Yeah, you mentioned her dad.
Her dad, yeah.
What about the rest of the family?
The whole family rallies around her.
Oh, that's nice.
Unwavering support.
I love that. The article portrays rodeo as this whole family thing.
It does.
Often, across generations, right?
Yeah.
You see that. passing down knowledge, skills.
It's like a tradition.
It's like those old apprenticeships.
Totally.
Where you learn by doing it, by being a part of it.
And it's not just family, right?
Okay.
The article mentions how the experienced veterans often mentor younger writers.
Oh, like sharing their wisdom.
Sharing their wisdom, exactly.
Helping them navigate the tough parts.
Yeah, they're not just teaching rodeo techniques.
Right.
They're like bringing them into a whole culture.
It's like an initiation.
It is.
Into this whole way of life.
And it creates this sense of community.
A shared understanding, you know?
Absolutely. It's not just a sport.
Right.
It's a way of life.
With its own values, traditions.
Unspoken rules.
Exactly. And those values, like resilience, determination.
Respect for hard work.
Exactly. That stuff goes way beyond the rodeo arena.
It does. Those are qualities that can help anyone.
Absolutely.
In any part of life.
Life lessons from rodeo. Who knew?
Right. So it's more than just a spectacle.
Right.
It's like this little world, you know?
Yeah, a microcosm, I think they call it.
Yeah, where people test their limits, they make these deep connections.
They develop those skills.
They develop these skills to face life's challenges.
It's really cool when you think about it like that.
It is. And as we go further into Shelby's story, we're going to go deeper into these themes.
Can't wait.
We're going to look at the strategies they use to manage fear.
Okay.
The business side of rodeo.
Interesting.
And the changing role of women.
Oh, that'll be good.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Looking forward to it.
We'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back.
So we've been exploring this idea of rodeo as like a training ground for life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious to dig a little deeper into the financial side of it all.
Okay, yeah, the money part of it.
Yeah, because the article doesn't shy away from that.
No, it definitely doesn't.
It mentions like all the costs involved.
Yeah.
The equipment, travel, vet care for the animals.
It adds up.
It really does.
Yeah.
And unlike some pro sports, there's no guaranteed paycheck in rodeo.
That's true.
It's like you're an entrepreneur.
Interesting way to put it.
You're investing in yourself.
Yeah.
And hoping to make it back through winnings, sponsorships.
High risk, high reward.
Totally.
Which is kind of like rodeo itself in a way.
Exactly. And Shelby's dad talks about the sacrifices he's made to support her passion.
Financially, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And he sees it as an investment in her future.
I can see that.
But it brings up a question.
Okay.
Is rodeo becoming more accessible?
Right.
Or is it still mainly for those with, considerable resources?
That's a tough one.
It is.
Because on one hand, there are more opportunities now.
Right. Especially for young writers.
But the costs are also going up.
Yeah.
And that can make it hard for some people.
Yeah, for sure.
Who might not have as much.
So it's like a balancing act, passion, practicality.
For sure.
And speaking of, achieving your goals,
okay,
Shelby's story really highlights how the role of women in rodeo is evolving.
I was going to say, she's a girl, right?
Yeah, she is.
So that's got to play a part in all of this.
Exactly. And the article mentions how she's inspired by this new generation of female rodeo athletes.
Who are breaking barriers.
Exactly. And competing at the highest levels.
That's awesome.
It is. And she's not just content with participating.
Yeah.
She wants to be a role model for other young women.
To encourage them to get involved.
Yeah, to chase their rodeo dreams.
I love that.
It's like, it challenges that whole notion that rodeo is a man's sport.
Right, exactly.
But have these changes been welcomed?
Good question.
Like across the board?
Right.
Or has there been pushback?
From the old guard or whatever?
Yeah, from those clinging to tradition.
Well, the article doesn't go into specifics about that.
Okay.
But it does acknowledge that there are still issues with, gender equality.
There's always more to do.
Yeah, always room for improvement.
It's Shelby's story and the stories of other successful women in rodeo. They're helping create a more inclusive future for this sport.
And that's something to celebrate.
It is.
No matter who you are.
No matter who you are and whether you like rodeo or not.
It's about progress.
Exactly.
Breaking down barriers.
Yeah, challenging the status quo.
Important stuff.
It is.
So what about the skills
that
you need to be good at rodeo?
Yeah, because the article talks about Shelby's dedication to practice.
Right.
But what does that actually look like?
What does she do all day?
Yeah. Is it just riding a horse or a bull?
I mean, that's got to be part of it.
It is, but there's so much more.
Okay.
It involves intense physical training.
Makes sense.
Honing specific techniques for each event.
Oh, so it's not all the same.
No, not at all.
Interesting.
And then also understanding animal behavior.
Oh, that's key.
It is. It's like a dance.
Between human and animal.
Yes.
You need that coordination, timing, trust.
And the article really highlights horsemanship.
Which I feel it gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah, it does.
People think it's just about the rider, but it's not.
No, it's about the partnership.
Exactly.
And it's not about dominating the animal. It's about working together.
Respecting each other.
Knowing each other's limits.
And that goes beyond the arena too, right?
It does. Rodeo culture emphasizes ethical treatment.
Of the animals.
Of the animals, yeah.
Which is something people might not realize.
Yeah, and it's crucial for the sport's sustainability.
It is. And it's being discussed more and more within the rodeo world.
Trying to find that balance.
Yeah.
Tradition and ethics. It's a complex issue.
It is.
But an important one.
For sure.
And speaking of tradition,
okay,
I'm struck by how rodeo blends the old and the new.
Yeah, it's got that old West feel.
It does. It's steeped in history.
Cowboy culture.
Ranching, the American West, all of that.
But it's not stuck in the past, right?
No, it's not.
Like there's technology, new training methods.
New safety measures.
It's changing with the times.
It is. It's evolving.
Which is kind of cool.
And we see that in Shelby's story, too.
Okay, how so?
She's carrying on this legacy from her father and her grandfather.
Right.
But she's also bringing her own perspective.
Her own ambitions.
She's part of this new generation shaping the future of rodeo.
While still honoring the past.
Honoring the past, but pushing the boundaries.
That's a good way to put it.
And that tension, that push and pull between tradition and progress, it makes rodeo so interesting.
It's dynamic.
It's a living, breathing culture.
It's not just some museum exhibit.
No, it's constantly adapting.
Which is something we can all learn from, right?
Yeah, we can honor our past.
But still look to the future.
Embrace change, push for something better.
That's a good lesson.
And it goes beyond rodeo.
Applies to everything.
So we've seen how rodeo is multifaceted.
Yeah.
It's physical, it's mental, it's financial.
Cultural.
And it demands respect for tradition.
But also innovation.
And as we go into the final part of our dive.
Okay, we'll explore the psychology of managing fear.
Interesting.
And the broader societal impact of rodeo culture.
Looking forward to it.
Stay with us. We've talked about a lot with rodeo.
We have.
The money, the women.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking about the mental side of it all.
The mental game.
Yeah, it's intense. The article talks about Shelby's rituals.
Before she competes.
Yeah, she visualizes each ride.
Oh, okay.
Focuses on her breathing.
Right.
Even uses, like, positive self-talk.
It's interesting, right?
It is.
Because you think of rodeo as this rough and tough thing.
You do.
But then you have these mental techniques.
Right, like mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
It's kind of surprising.
But it also makes sense when you think about it.
It does.
I mean, you're about to get on a bucking bronco.
Right.
You gotta be in control.
You have to.
Both your mind and your body.
Exactly. And the article even says some riders work with sports psychologists.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, to like develop those mental skills even further. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And that connection between mind and body, it's everywhere, really.
It is.
Sports, business, even creative stuff.
Yeah, and rodeo just shows how important it is.
Under pressure, especially.
Absolutely. So what are some of the techniques?
To manage fear?
Yeah.
Because let's be real.
Yeah.
Seeing a 1,000-pound animal charging at you?
Yeah.
That's got to be scary.
Terrifying. So the article mentions visualization.
Okay.
Riders imagine their rides.
Like a successful outcome.
Exactly.
Oh.
Focus on the control.
Not the danger.
Right. And deep breathing, too.
To calm down.
To calm down, yeah.
Interesting.
And a lot of them have mantras or affirmations.
To stay positive.
To stay positive, yeah.
So, does it work?
I mean, can mental training really make that much of a difference?
Well, there's a lot of research on this.
Okay.
In sports psychology.
Right.
And it shows that visualization, for example,
yeah,
it can improve muscle memory.
Really?
Yeah. And performance, too. And mindfulness, like the breathing.
Right.
That helps with anxiety, helps with focus.
So it's not just some woo thing.
Yo.
Yeah.
It has a real impact.
Even in rodeo.
Even in rodeo, yeah.
Yeah.
We have more control over our minds than we think.
We do. Let's talk a little about rodeo's cultural impact.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very American thing. Right.
It is, but has it spread beyond the U.S.?
It has, actually.
Right.
Canada, Australia, parts of Europe, and South America.
Wow.
They've all got rodeo.
So it's becoming more international.
It is.
Interesting. But the article focuses on America.
Right.
Where it's tied to the whole Wild West image.
Cowboys, rugged individualism.
Yeah. But the article also says that's not the whole picture.
Okay, how so?
It shows how diverse rodeo actually is.
In what way?
Different backgrounds, different ethnicities.
Right. It's not just one type of person.
Exactly. It
Yeah.
challenges that stereotype.
Of a white cowboy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's a reminder that culture is always changing.
Always evolving.
Even something as traditional as rodeo.
But as it grows, there are going to be criticisms,
Yeah.
especially about the animal.
Animal welfare.
Yeah. So how does the rodeo world address that?
Well, the article says it's a big concern for them, too.
Okay.
A lot of organizations are making things stricter.
Regulations, safety measures.
Exactly. And they're trying to be more transparent.
Educate people about what they do.
Yeah, show that they care about the animals.
It's a complex issue,
It is.
but it seems like they're trying to do the right thing.
They are. So we've really gone deep with rodeo.
We have.
The mental game, the money, the culture.
It's more than just a sport.
It's a reflection of us, you know?
Our struggles, our triumphs,
And what I find amazing is that it teaches us things.
things we can use in our own lives.
Exactly. So as we wrap up, think about this.
Okay.
What part of that rodeo spirit speaks to you?
The grit, the determination,
How can you use that in your own life?
even if you're not facing a bucking bronco.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into rodeo.
It was a wild ride.
It was. Until next time.
See you.